Hey guys, my name's Deb Marnie and I'm from Aussie Maille. Welcome to our chainmail tutorial channel. Hey guys, big hi, hello, welcome. Really glad to see you here today. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial for one of the projects from our subscription box. So if you want to check out that fabulous box, get a little bit more information, I'll leave the link down below in the description for you. Today we're making the second project from our August box, and this is the Eternally Nameless Bracelet, which is based on the Knot Teo 4 weave. Alright guys, let's just jump straight into it. Okay, so here is a sample of the project that we're going to be making today. I've called this the Eternally Nameless Bracelet, and it's based on the Knot Teo 4 weave. Okay, so to make this bracelet up to a length of approximately 20 centimeters or 8 inches, you're going to need the following components. So we're using bright aluminium in 14 gauge AWG, which is 1.6 millimeter diameter wire. You're going to need some rings with an ID of 8 mils. You'll need 16 of these rings. Also, in 14 gauge, we've got rings that are 6.25 millimeters, and you'll need 32 of these rings. In 16 gauge AWG or 1.2 millimeter diameter wire, we're using rings with a ring ID of 3/16 of an inch or 4.76 millimeters, and you'll need 32 of those. And then finally, in 18 gauge AWG, which is 1 millimeter diameter wire, we're going to be using rings with a ring ID of 2.5 millimeters, and you're going to need 40 of these particular rings. Alright, you're also going to need these beads, which are the Czech glass carrier beads. You can see there are 2 hold beads that go straight through the side of the beads. You'll need 3 of these. You're also going to need either some wire or eye pins or head pins to create loops to join the beads to the mail. I use these head pins. These are about 7 centimeters in length, and I can use 1 head pin per bead. So that'll give you an idea of about how much wire you will need. And of course, you'll also need a clasp. I used a slide lock clasp here, a 2-strand side lock clasp to finish our bracelet off. And for pliers, you're going to need a pair of round nose pliers and a pair of wire cutters to help create the beaded units. And for the mail, we're going to need 2 pairs of smooth jawed pliers. These are pliers from the Xuron range. This is the chisel nose plier, and this is the short nose plier. Okay, so I'll show you how to make up the Knot Teo 4 units first. And to do that, you're going to need per unit to close 4 of your 6.25 millimeter ID rings. So I'm going to call these rings the medium rings. So 4 of the medium rings. So pre-close those now. As I said, you'll need 4 per unit. You're also going to be using 2 of the 8 millimeter ID rings. So these will be our large rings. And our final ring that we're going to be using is 3/16 of an inch, and they'll be our small rings. Okay, so take our pre-closed medium rings and pop all 4 of those onto an opened large ring. Close your large ring up, and then feed another large ring through the same 4 rings. Okay, so we've just doubled our large ring up. Okay, so this is what our work currently looks like. So we're going to be dealing with 2 rings at a time here. So we want to take up our 3/16 of an inch ring now, and we're going to feed that through the first of our medium rings, and then we want to bring it down in between our large rings and bring it around up through the back of our second ring there. Okay, you can see that path. I'll show you that again. So I'll just take this off. So we've got 2 rings that we're working with. Our first ring, we put our small ring through it, and we sort of want to bring this down in between our large rings. And while we're there, we want to scoop up our second medium ring. Now you can see that this one is lying horizontally and our first ring is standing up vertically. Okay, so we want to make sure that we've got them in that position. And then once we're happy with that, we want to close our small ring up. Okay, and our work looks like this. Then we want to move around our work, take up another small ring. This time we're going to feed it through the second of our first pair. So it now becomes our vertical ring, and our next new ring becomes our horizontal ring. So going through our first ring, slipping down between our 2 large rings until we scoop up our second medium ring. Okay, and we scoop that up in such a way that that ring now lies horizontally. Okay, we don't want to scoop it up so that it looks like this. Okay, we don't want this sort of look. We want to lay this ring flat, our second ring flat, and come in and scoop it up from behind and come up to the top so that that ring lies horizontally and our first ring lies vertically. Once we're happy with that, we close our small ring up. Okay, hope you can see that. So our small ring always sits in there in between our 2 large rings, scooping up our medium rings there. Okay, so we turn our work around, and as I said, our horizontal ring becomes our vertical ring and our new ring becomes our horizontal ring. Taking up a new small ring, we first go through our vertical ring, and then holding our other ring horizontally, we come down and we scoop it from the back to the front, coming up through the middle of the 2 large rings. Okay, locking that ring into position. And this is what our work currently looks like. So we've got 1 more small ring to place. We want to lock our final 2 rings into position. They're already in position. We don't have to do anything special there. We just want to take our open ring, our final small ring, and we want to go straight through, making sure we pick up the first ring, going in between our large rings. You can see it goes down there in between the large rings, and then come back up, picking up our final medium ring, coming up through the middle of our large rings, and then we close that up. Okay, and that's our finished knot TO 4 unit. So set that one aside, and you're going to need a total of 8 of those units to be made to do the bracelet. So I just want to show you how to do that again. So pre-close 4 of your medium rings. That is the 14 gauge 6.25mm ID rings. Close those up. Make sure you've got 4 of those. Okay. And then once you've got your 4 rings, take up one of your large rings, open them up, and place your 4 rings onto that. Okay, close it up. And repeat with another large ring so that you've doubled them up. Okay, and this is what our work looks like. Now we're going to use our 3/16 of an inch ring, our small rings. I'm going to open that one up. We're going to focus on 2 of these rings at a time. Okay, so we sort of need our rings to be one standing up and one sort of lying down. Okay, so we just want to scoop through our first ring, and then we want to very carefully, while keeping it on that ring, bring it down between our 2 large rings. Okay, we don't go through them, we just go between them. And then while we're down there, we want to scoop through the back of our second ring so that it lies flat. Okay, scoop through the back of that, up through the top, making sure you come up between the large rings. Okay, we're still between the large rings. And then once we've got all of that, we want to close our ring up. Okay, and our work looks like that. We want to then rotate our work clockwise until our horizontal ring becomes our new vertical ring. Taking up another small ring. We want to go through our vertical ring. Bring that small ring down between our 2 large rings there, so that when we come down, we can scoop up through the back of the next medium ring. We're scooping it up from underneath to top, coming all the way back out of the large rings there, so popping up through the middle of the large rings again and closing that up. Okay, this is what our work looks like. So we turn our work once more so that our horizontal ring now becomes a vertical ring. We take our 3/16, a small ring, feed it through our vertical ring, bring it down so that we can then feed it through the back of our next medium ring. Okay, bringing it up through that medium ring, up through and popping out of the top of our large rings there, and then locking that into place. Okay, hopefully you can see that path. And then we're left with one more ring that we have to place. We need to lock these final 2 rings. You can see they're already pretty much in position there. We just need to lock them in. So we take up our final small ring. And we go through our vertical ring, come down, pick up our horizontal ring, making sure we go through the back of our horizontal ring first, bring it up. You see that? We're bringing it up all the way until it pops out the top again, and then we want to close that ring up. And there you go. It's a completed knot Tego 4 unit. So as I said, you'll need a total of 8 of those to make the bracelet up to 20 centimeters. So you go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back here when you're ready and show you how I join it all together. Okay, so we want to create our little beaded units, and to do that I'm going to use, as I said, these head pins that I have. These are about 7 centimeters in length. So firstly I'm going to cut off the little ball on the end so that I've basically got just a piece of wire. Okay, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take that piece of wire and I'm going to put a bend in it about 7 mils from the end. Okay, 7 mils is the magic number. So I'm just going to bend that wire so that this bit here is about 7 millimeters in length. And then I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and I'm going to create a little loop in that short bend. Okay, so just bring that all the way around. So you've got a nice little loop in your wire like that. And then I'm going to pop that through one of my beads. I'm going to bend my bead now, or my wire I should say, snug up against my bead so that it comes out like this, and I'm going to cut off again about 7 mils. So I can make the second loop in our piece. Now I'm going to hold on to the piece of wire I cut off because I'm going to use that on the other, oops, sorry about that, on the other side. So once I've got that, I'm going to now make my loop as I did before. Okay. All right. I'm going to make sure that they're pretty much straight, which they are, then it's not too bad that those loops are both facing the same way, that they're not all cockeyed. If they are cockeyed, just grab hold of each loop and then just twist the wire until you've got your loops facing the correct way. So we want to do the same again here for this hole because it's a 2-hole bead. Okay, so I'm going to take up my remaining wire. So I'm going to put another bend in at about 7 millimeters. Okay, just like that. These are fabulous rulers. I really like these ones, these metal ones. They've got the inches, they've got centimeters. They start right here at the edge, so it makes it really easy to do the sort of measuring that I'm doing. Okay, so once you've got that bend in, go in and make your loop. Okay, I've just made a quick nasty one there, but you can make it take a little bit more time. Again, pop that into your, really did make a nasty one, didn't I? Okay, into your bead. Again, bend your bead, flush up against, your wire, sorry, flush up against your bead and cut that off from where the bead is, from the bend there to about 7 millimeters, which is about there. Cut that off and then create your second loop. Okay, so there we go. We've got our 2 wire pieces and wire loops through our beads. So go ahead and do that to the rest of your beads. You've got 3 beads in total. So do that again until you've got all your beads looking like this. And then we'll start joining our components together. Okay, so I'm going to use our 2mm ID rings for this. And you just simply want to take up your first tail unit. Now just decide which way you want to position your tail unit, because you can make them look different. So the rings either lie in the exact same position, these middle rings here lie in the exact same positions like this, or you could do a mirrored effect. Because we're in pairs, a mirrored effect might work. It's up to you how you want to do it, but just decide how you're going to position your units. And then taking up your 2.5mm ID ring, we're going to pop one through our unit just there like that. And then another one through that ring. Okay, and then finally with our last ring, pop through that chain, and before we close it up, we put it onto our next unit. Again, as I said, making sure you've got this unit facing the way that you want it to be facing, and then you just close that up. Okay, so you've got a little 1-1-1 chain, so you just do that here on the other side as well, so that we've got it joined up, oops, on all corners. Oh, these are small fiddly rings to work with. And without my magnifier, they are even worse. But anyway, I will do my best, so please excuse my my closures. Okay, so I've got 2 rings in place, and with our final ring, put that through our chain, and then through the unit. Okay. So there we've got our 2 units. I've got them going the same way. So once you've got 2 units joined, it's now time to join the bead. And with the bead, we just take up 1 small ring, pop it through that corner just there, as we have been, and then take up your beaded unit and feed that through one of the loops there and close it up. And then do the same for the other side. Okay, feed it through the ring and then through the loop. Okay, so your work looks like that. And you just keep joining your pieces together in that same pattern. So 2 knot tail units, a bead, 2 knot tail units, a bead, 2 knot tail units, a bead, etc., etc. And then of course it's just a case of attaching your slide lock clasp to the 2 ends, and you do that of course with the 2.5mm ID rings as well. And then that's it, guys. That's your finished Eternally Nameless bracelet. Alright guys, that's it. That's the tutorial for today. I hope you enjoyed watching it and you are inspired to whip up your own Eternally Nameless bracelet. Now don't forget, if you do like this or did like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up here at YouTube. That'd be fantastic. Share the video. Leave any comments or questions you may have in the comment section below. We'd love to hear from you guys. If you're not a subscriber, then it would be fabulous if you would consider becoming a subscriber, because it helps support us and allows us to keep making these videos for you guys. And last but not least, don't forget to check out the shop link up here in the corner, where you'll be able to buy all the tools, components and bits and bobs that you need for this and many of our other tutorials, which at the time of recording we have over 150 here on our channel. So don't forget to pop along and check those out as well. Alright guys, thanks once more for coming along and spending part of your day with me, and I hope to catch you again sometime in the very near future. Bye!